Are video games art or business? Or both? Hey friendos, it's DW. The last 6 weeks have been pretty intense. I've been doing this thing called the New Media Manitoba Game Biz Lab over a course of about 6 to 7 weeks. Just finished it a couple days ago. It was great. This was a program that you applied for, and you joined a small cohort of other indie developer studios, and the goal was to get foundations and education around building a studio and what that means, and getting the basics around marketing and budgeting and project development and that whole business element, not game design and game development itself. The whole reason I took it was to get an understanding of what I didn't understand, if that makes any sense. More specifically, I wanted to know what I wasn't thinking about when it came to running a video game studio and creating a video game. What it ended up being was me learning a lot and asking myself what I wanted my business to be, which led me to the question, are video games art to me, or are they a business? Now the conflict comes in when you look at the state of the industry. Is you have the business wants to make money and the art wants to be creative, and they kind of fight. But it's not really, they can be conducive, they can work together. There's a kind of a symbiosis that can happen there. If the art wants to be funded, if you want to be funded for your art, you have to, at least in my opinion, be willing to have the dialogue about how are you going to pay people, how are you going to buy your supplies, how are you going to pay rent, how are you going to make sure you can continue to make art. If you're one of those folks that makes art for art and the money is just a distraction, nothing wrong with that. I'm just not that person. Now, I didn't only take away the philosophy of video games or art or business. For me in my studio, I learned a few things about myself and what I wanted to do. Number one is that there will never be a way for me to reduce risk enough in a business for me to feel comfortable. The reality of running any business is that you're putting yourself out there, you're trying something. If people don't buy it, you are taking that risk when they don't buy it, right? When you put your products out there. Video games, in a way, I think are almost worse than regular software or any other product, because you're putting your heart and soul out there, and when people don't buy it and react to it and you don't get the validation from the market, it's a personal hit. It's kind of hard not to take it personally. Ignoring the feelings component, the financial risk that goes with it, there's just no way for me to feel 100% confident that everything's going to go well. You can look at the industry at large. The industry is not in a good state right now. Like I talked about in a previous video, it's kind of an insane idea to do this at all, let alone now. However, I'm going to take this chance because my heart wants to do it. I want to get some stuff out there. I want to be a part of it so badly. So I'm going to try. And if it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work. But at least I tried. And I can say, you know what? I tried, I took a swing, and it is what it is. Second thing is that growth for Coco Boco Studios will never be defined by making $1 billion, but it'll be defined by what we are able to produce over the years. The dream is to be able to get funded to create my own art. But I also want to see games out there that I don't see today. And as soon as I start talking to publishers and investors and folks that I have met, that's, usually a red flag. You should validate your audience. There's a whole business plan to making a video game, and I get all that. And I'm doing all of that. But there are games that I want to see these twists and changes in certain things in games that I just don't see anymore, and I want to see those things come forward. But the whole goal here is to create my art without it being a debt, financially specifically, on me. I have hobbies. I've got video games. I buy too many old video games. It's a whole thing. They cost me money. With the video game development, I want to get the art out there, and I want it to ideally not cost me a ton of money over the time. And that would be lovely. And that's kind of how I've defined success for myself, at least in the short term, is making sure that I'm trying to break even or breaking even and then funding the next game. So you're just constantly building that cycle up. And ideally, you get better and better at it, and you start to get bigger and bigger games. Like, it's a very stereotypical business plan, but that's kind of the goal, is to continue to make games that I want to see made that are larger and larger scale, and they cost more and more money to make. Now, the third thing that I learned out of all of this, which I think is the most important thing I took away, was I bring a lot more to the table when it comes to making video games than I thought I did. Now, I don't have a commercial video game background. I've never worked for a big company. I've only made hobby projects. I don't have a portfolio of game jam games for the last 10 years. I've been a very passive hobbyist that started doing game development way too late, when I didn't have the time required to really invest in it. It was just really something I did on the side. But what I learned is that my 10 years, 15 years gross, plus experience in software development brings a lot of interesting characteristics around the business development side, but also understanding software development, understanding the gaps in where the risks are in those pipelines, and how to get this stuff more streamlined in terms of development. So I understand fundamentals on that, and I bring a level of maturity that a lot of game developers, not to say they don't bring it, but it's something that I bring to the table because I have such a business-centric headspace, because it's what I know. It's the thing. It's not that I'm sitting there being like, we have to run this as a business. I mean, in a way I am for myself. But the thing is, I'm trying to map a creative industry to a non-creative product, my non-creative product experience. But the fundamentals are all still there. And because I bring that level of maturity and understanding things like understanding risk management and these different pieces that I've been handling for most of my career, I think that has something that has value when it comes to talking to investors and publishers into the project. And so I'm going to see how things go, because now that I have a proper budget thanks to this program, I have a marketing plan that I'm fleshing out, and I'm finalizing that stuff over the course of the next month. My experience means something, that I can take these things and coordinate them and be like, this is a thing. That maturity, not to say that game developers are immature, but that maturity of experience from being old, I guess, really does bring something different to the table. And I'm going to see if I can leverage that strength, because everybody's got strengths. It's just a matter of identifying them. I just didn't realize that could be a strength in the process of things. And with that, I'm going to call it. This is kind of a rougher cut video. I realized I did not have the usual time frame to do it. I actually tried recording it in the car. That didn't go very well. Phone fell off and it was a whole thing. Thank you so much for watching. Your likes, your subscribes, your views, whatever, all of it helps me keep this thing going. I make these videos to be accountable to myself, if I'm being honest, but hearing the feedback from folks has been really enlightening and very, very helpful in both my process and in how to do these courses. It actually gave me the confidence to go do some of these courses and actually take a shot at some of this. So please like, subscribe, comment. It all helps me out. Much appreciated. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day.